My time starts now. Immigrants come from all over the world for many different reasons. Recently, the United States have been considering restricting immigration laws. We affirm the resolution that increased restrictions to legal immigration by the United States is beneficial. We define legal immigration as immigrants who are permitted to live and work in America and entered America in a lawful manner. We win if we can prove that restriction to legal immigration is beneficial to the U.S. Our first contention is the economy. Our first is that increased immigration will benefit our economy and the citizens of the United States, and that the current immigration policy needs reformation. According to the national interest, family reunification immigration makes no economic sense and has disastrous consequences. The relatives of citizens that immigrate to the U.S. may be unskilled and uneducated, and therefore more likely to become a public charge, or a person that relies on the government for subsistence. More public charges equals more money from taxpayers spent on supporting them rather than focused on more important issues. Not only this, but relatives that may not be of immediate family. Not only this, but relatives that may not be of immediate family to a citizen and have no other relationships with the citizen could easily take advantage of chain immigration. Our second subpoint is that it's unfair to hire skilled workers who might be better or have a higher ROI or return on investment. People who migrate to the U.S. and become U.S. citizens due to their family reunification policy make it harder for higher skilled workers to enter the United States. Higher skilled immigrants benefit the economy much more because they have skills that the U.S. needs and ideas and ambitions that could potentially be money-making. Our second contention is that we should have health and education restrictions. Many people immigrate all over the world. They could be carrying many diseases and have health problems. These health issues could impact themselves and the people they surround negatively. According to CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, every year 500,000 immigrants and 80 refugees come to the U.S., and many of them could be bringing over disease such as measles, whooping cough, mumps, scarlet fever, and bubonic plague. The near eradication of these diseases in the United States during the 20th century was a remarkable accomplishment for the American civilization. Until recently, most Americans believed that these diseases were gone from our shores for good. In 2017, the United States experienced a record number of measles cases, with 667 cases from 27 states reported to the CDC's National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, NCIRD. This is the greatest number of cases since measles elimination was documented in the U.S. in 2000, the Center for Disease Control, CDC, reports. These are just some examples of the severity of the increasing numbers of diseases. A politicized public health system and a rise in subsidized migration into the United States, however, have combined to reverse a century of progress. To prevent this from happening, we can set restrictions on who enters the United States and based on their family and medical history, as if they have gotten all the required vaccinations. Seeing that they have a good medical history, they can further on supply them with a green card or visa. If we apply the system in more scenarios, we can make sure everyone who enters the country as refugees or immigrants are healthy and will not bring in diseases and illnesses while protecting the current United States citizens. Many people come here not because they are educated, and this in turn leads to homeless and the jobless wandering the streets. They can't find jobs because there aren't any. Why? Because people are taking over our jobs when they immigrate over. While we need to think about the current citizens first, as they are already residing in the U.S. We need a restriction on education so that these people who take these jobs can.
So, are you sure that the diseases actually come directly from the immigrants?
Well, we have medical reports, and many medical experts agree with this and believe that the immigrants that are coming over are the ones that are transmitting these diseases, such as whooping cough, measles, mumps, and all of those.
What medical experts?
From the CDC, Control Center for Disease, and also from the NCIRD, I believe. NCIRD, the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases.
So you're saying it comes actually only from the immigrants?
Well, not all of our diseases from immigrants, but a lot of them are coming from immigrants. And if we restrict these immigrants with health issues, we can help to provide the U.S. citizens a better and safer environment so they don't have to deal with these diseases that could potentially harm them and their families.
So how do you define restrictions?
We would like restrictions as those maybe on health and education reasons. So like to make sure they have an education that's high enough or like qualified for a certain job so it can help the economy or make new businesses. And
Because I think that restrictions are limits, and you're saying that we should have more background checks on medical, and I think that isn't limiting the amount or anything like that.
but like many immigrants who come over do not have many medical problems and do not have a very high education. So if we have certain levels of education and health that we need them to have, then that will decrease the amount of immigrants coming over dramatically.
So you're restricting the people who have bad medical.
Bad medical and health issues. Yes.
So you're basically saying the people who actually need help with their health, and you're saying they just can't come to the U.S. for help.
Well, they're coming over because of health, but like we're talking about like immigrants who just to come like in, not like the ones who like actually come here for medical, but just the ones who come in to like get jobs and stuff like that.
Like how many?
Around 80,000 immigrants are coming over every year. So
For medical?
not for medical, but in total. So if we restrict that, it could decrease the number of jobs.
Like I'm saying, how many are actually coming here just because they just want it and they have medical reasons? They also have medical problems.
I don't have that number.
So how are you sure that all these people aren't like all coming just not because they just want medical help?
Well, not all of them are coming over because of medical help. Some of them are coming because they're refugees, or they're coming for jobs because they're in poverty and they come over because they want jobs or like a better situation.
So you're saying just because they have that, we shouldn't help them and help them get better?
Well, I'm not saying we shouldn't help them, but we need to care about the current U.S. citizens first, as they are the current U.S. citizens, and we should take care of them first.
Okay.
Okay, my time starts now. Hi, my name is Megan, and I am representing the Potomac Debate Academy. We negate the following resolution. Resolve: increased restrictions on legal immigration by the U.S. framework. If we can prove that increasing restrictions on legal immigration by the U.S. is not beneficial to our economy, we win. Contention 1. Immigrants are beneficial to the economy. Since immigrants are good for the economy, restrictions will harm the U.S. According to Van Gage, 51% of the over $1 billion companies founders are from different countries, and 70% of the workers are immigrants. Half of the people came from student visas, which proves that the people who want to learn are helpful to the economy. Without immigrants, we would have less than half of the amount of companies we have today. An article from the Washington Times states that immigrants are actually 2 times more likely to start businesses than native-born citizens are. According to Bloomberg View, immigrants are needed to help the U.S. economy start new businesses. The impacts are: immigrants start many businesses, which creates more jobs for native-born workers. According to Psychology Today, in 2011, immigrants contributed $775 billion to the U.S. domestic product. Also, immigrants started 28% of the businesses, which provides many jobs. According to Eakin of CNN, immigration is a necessity, not just something that's needed. If it's restricted, then there will be less people present to benefit our economy. Also, immigrants are needed to replace the people that retire each year. We need more people in STEM things like programming and engineering, so immigrants are hired to do those jobs. Contention 2. America is supposed to be a peaceful place. If we take in refugees, they will be very grateful for the U.S. government services. According to Psychology Day, opening our borders proves to other countries that America is welcoming. If they're grateful, they will be friendly to our country, and that could increase trade routes. The impacts are worse economy if there's less tourists. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, tourism industry GDP growth is 3.1%, and immigrants can support 6 million net additional jobs. Also, if there's less traveling because less people want to come to the U.S., then the economy will gain less money, which is not good. Contention 3. Immigrants are actually less likely to commit crimes than native-born people are. According to The Balance, only 5% of the people in prison are immigrants, and out of all the criminals, 7% are immigrants. An article from the New York Times states that immigrants are half to 1/5 as likely to be in prison as native-born people. Therefore, we strongly urge you to vote con.
My time starts now. So can you define beneficial and who we're talking about we want the benefit for?
So beneficial is good for the economy, and we're benefiting the economy.
So wait,
For
so who
everybody.
do we want the benefits for? Like the U.S. citizens currently, or the immigrants? So, like, for your case, so are the benefits for the current citizens, or are you talking about it's also benefiting for the immigrants that haven't come over yet?
We're benefiting everybody.
Okay. Can you repeat your first contention?
The entire first contention?
Just the general.
Okay, immigrants are beneficial to the economy.
So can you go into more detail about what, like, certain benefits they have?
Well, they help, like I said, they help have more jobs because immigrants, an article from the Washington Times says that immigrants are 2 times more likely to start businesses than native-born people are, and businesses create more jobs.
So is there anything else backing up that claim, or is it just the Washington Post?
The Washington Times.
No, and this.
Yeah, and Partnership for a New American Economy.
Okay. So, thank you, that's all.
You didn't read this entire thing. You didn't say this entire thing in the first contention. Now it's your attack case. So is it mine? Okay. Oh, there's like 20 seconds left from that one. Okay. 3 minutes. It was 3 minutes, okay. Okay, sorry. I need to. Okay. So time starts now. So the first thing my opponent said was that immigrants are unskilled and uneducated. So I first want to say that according to the integration of immigrants into American society, on average, immigrants to the U.S. have comparable levels of education to the native-born and also have better health and commit fewer crimes. So it also says that. So also it says. So this also goes against the health because this also says that immigrants also have comparable levels of health, and also it says it has better health than native-born. They also talk about how there are not enough jobs. So first, Utah's Department of Workforce Services says that 37.1% of adults were neither working nor looking for work. According to the New York Times, labor shortages are weighing on overall economic growth. This means that there are actually a lot of jobs open and we need immigrants to fill these jobs in. So they're not actually taking jobs, they're helping filling jobs that are actually needed. He also said that Giovanni Perry, an economics at the University of California, Davis, said that the average American worker is more likely to lose than gain from immigration restrictions. And also, the immigrants will make more jobs, and then that will make more business, because they will make more business. A study by John McLaurin of the University of Virginia and Jin Hoon Hung of Indiana University said that each immigrant produced 1.2 jobs. This means that if there are 100 immigrants coming to America, they will make 1,200 jobs. So that is why. So also my partner skipped some things in the contention one, so I wanted to finish that. It was that according to the study by the Partnership for a New American Economy, 40% of Fortune 500 companies were founded by either immigrants or the children of immigrants. And of course, you can think of companies such as Google with Russian-born co-founder Sergey Brin, or Uber's Garrett Camp from Canada. These are all people who founded big companies and were foreign-born and brought many new jobs to America. So yeah, that's why I received. Oh my god, my timer. Sorry, it's okay, timer. 2 minutes, right? My timer sounds so beautiful. It's fun.
Cross-examination.
Oh, cross-examination. 2 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Time starts now.
Did you guys do that time?
Oh, we do it after the cross-examination.
Oh, then I'll restart it. Okay.
Okay, next
What? So, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
So early on, you said once we get in an alliance with the people who are immigrating over, we can trade with them and create soft power.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we want to trade and create soft power and alliances with countries that immigrants are immigrating out of for bad reasons?
Bad reasons?
Like, for war, why? So basically, why are the immigrators coming out of their countries?
There's a lot of reasons. Like they think that sometimes it's for colleges, they want to go to this one, and there's a lot of different reasons.
Do you have any statistics to show that?
Huh?
Do you have any evidence?
How do you get statistics for that?
Like, how many?
You say that it's why they come out, but I don't get what do you mean statistics.
Okay, and why would we want to have a bond with war-filled countries? Like, a lot of immigrants.
We're not saying war-filled countries. It's meaning that if we were actually having tensions with another country, we might want to build an alliance with a different country so they can help us.
A country that the immigrants that are not coming out of.
Why do they not have to come out?
You're saying that, what I'm understanding from what you're saying, is that the immigrants are coming out of a war-filled country, and we can create alliances with that country or a different country.
We're not saying that they're coming out from war-filled countries. It's we have tensions with a different country. We might want to build an alliance with a different country that might help us.
Okay. And how would you, since you want less restrictions on immigration coming over, how do you know that some people that are currently U.S. citizens won't be affected by xenophobia?
Oh, yeah, mine stopped too. At the same time.
My time starts now. So the opposing team said they wanted to benefit everyone. How will they be benefiting everyone if they said that having people immigrate over to America will create more jobs, but also they could take away jobs because there are jobs that are empty waiting for people to fill, and the immigrants could have easily taken the chance away from current U.S. citizens. And also, relating to the benefiting everyone case, how will they benefit the people with xenophobia, which is a phobia of immigrants coming in? And yeah,
Huh? Wait, that's N.
what?
Wait, you finished?
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't have to use all your time.
Okay. Actually, it's not. It was like 30 seconds. It was like 1 minute constructed.
Wait.
You guys ready?
Wait. Is this a cross examination? Yes. Oh, am I questioning her?
Wait, I think it's my question.
I guess.
Because I'm first
Who's-
on speaker.
Who's con one?
Oh,
Me.
yes. Yeah.
Okay, can we have
Can we have 30
30
seconds of
seconds
her
of
time?
that time?
Okay, we're good. Okay.
Okay. So, when you say that immigrants are taking up people's jobs, each immigrant actually produces 1.2 jobs for everybody.
Well, it produces jobs, and and immigrants can also take jobs, as well as create businesses. But taking those jobs will create less chances for current U.S. citizens to have those jobs.
Well, 37.1% of immigrants actually don't try to look for work.
Then what do they do?
They just don't.
Okay, well, you said that xenophobia is a fear of people coming into the country. Well, because the topic is about legal immigration, if this cannot be changed. Because when that happens, people can come and immigrate illegally. So you can't ever solve the problem of xenophobia, which is the fear of people immigrating.
But you said having immigrants coming in would benefit everyone, so it's not actually benefiting everyone.
Well, if they don't benefit everyone, then they benefit most people because most people are not scared of immigrants.
But what do you describe as, what do you define beneficial?
Beneficial is good for most people, like good for common good.
So are you changing the definition from what you said earlier to afterwards?
So to clarify, it was just what we said was like benefiting most people the first time, but she kind of said it kind of a little off. Sorry.
So now,
So you guys need some time to get ready for the final speech? Is the final speech now?
Oh, it's hers.
Okay.
Sarah's.
It's the different case.
it's right now it's the defense case.
Okay. Oh, it's cross. Defense.
Can we use 30 seconds of our prep time?
Okay.
So earlier you guys said that immigrants are 2 times more likely to create businesses than current U.S. citizens. So that's why we want restrictions, so we can have the higher educated immigrants coming over, so they can create more businesses, more higher end businesses, which will create even more and more jobs. And also, you said that we would gain a lot of soft power. But why would you want soft power with so many countries that maybe so many immigrants are coming over because they're refugees or for like poverty? So that means their country themselves are either have a bad economy or political system, or they're currently in war or like some sort of political issue. So why would we want to have bonds with those kind of countries when that could in turn give us a bad image? And also, we already have many bonds with like a lot of other countries like China or like others because of trade and of import and exporting. So why would we want even more immigrants when we already have a great bond with them? So our soft power wouldn't increase in any way.
Wait.
That's all I have to say.
Using your preparation time.
You guys are ready?
Can we have like 15 seconds?
How many?
15.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, so timer.
Oops, sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's 11:11. Okay. Yeah, no comment. Wait, 1.
Is it
Time starts now.
Okay, so when they talk about health restrictions by looking into their history, well, even if their history is good, that doesn't mean that they're not going to have a disease or anything right at that time. Also, when you say that immigrants are taking away jobs, the jobs they are taking, they create more jobs. Immigrants create more jobs than they take. And there are many jobs that need to be filled in STEM. Also, 37.1% of adults are neither working nor looking for work. So that means that many immigrants are actually not trying to take too many jobs. Also, each immigrant can produce 1.2 jobs, which means 1 job for themselves and 0.2 more. Also, some immigrants founded companies like Google, which people use every day. The U.S. Also, you guys talk about soft power and refugees, but the U.S. that has tensions is not to be. It's the U.S. that has tensions, not the other countries. So,
My time starts now. So they said that the opposing team said that allowing less restrictions for immigrants would be beneficial, and that immigrants would create more jobs and take more jobs as well. And then what about how would it be beneficial for the population that are losing their jobs? And they didn't show any evidence that people who immigrate are creating more jobs than they take. And then the opposing team also said that most immigrants that come to America don't actually work or create businesses. Why would we let immigrants come in if they were not going to do anything? Also, diseases may not have currently have been from immigrants, but if they go into the U.S., the diseases could be already in the U.S., so new disease won't enter. And as you can see, we need a certain level of restriction to help benefit the current society and people of the United States and its economy. We encourage you to vote affirmative. Thank you.
So is it my speech?
Final one.
Time. Oh, they have 40 more seconds. Okay. So, my time starts now. So, Judge, I think today we won because we proved that immigrants are beneficial for making new jobs and new businesses for America, making more innovation, more ideas, new technology, and we also proved that immigrants made more jobs, and they also did work that need to be filled, like STEM and all those things. They said the opposing team said that immigrants don't work because 37.1%, but we were meaning the entire population of Utah, not just immigrants itself. And also we proved that the U.S. can build more allies with using immigration. Also we proved that the economy can benefit from so they never rebutted to one of our impacts, which is how there will be less tourism in the U.S., which causes, and how the tourism industry contributed to direct GDP growth of 3.1%, supporting 6 million net additional jobs in this sector, and they never opposed to this, so I think we won on